Well, what are you gonna do, man?
Uh, Complain about it. Hello and welcome to the Part-Time Gamers, gaming podcast for people with full-time lives. I'm your host, Cyrenex, and I'm joined by my good friends Gristle, 9 of 12, and we have a special guest today. Connor is joining us today as well. Yeah, so, yep. How is everyone doing?
Doing good. Doing well.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
We're here.
doing significantly better now that my computer has decided to stop being a flaming pile of crap. At least for today.
As long as it wasn't just, you were taking a 6-hour shower after the lawn.
No.
I think we're okay.
No. Oh, no, it was a relatively short shower. But yeah, it's just my computer decided to spontaneously mute channels for whatever reason, and
I think everybody's used to that by now.
yeah. It's just frustrating because, like, literally nothing else has changed, and then I try to start everything up, and it's like, why am I not getting audio?
Yep.
I have to dig on all his settings and crap to try to figure out the one thing that changed. But yeah. Anyways,
It's making you super competent.
it's making me super something. Probably just angry and bitter.
Just pissed.
Yeah. 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 So, yeah, it's just been a long couple weeks. Work's been interesting. It's-
Is that good?
yeah, it's been nice because I've been getting quite a few hours, so paycheck's been pretty good because I work at Home Depot, and we were in the Memorial Day right around that time is pretty much the height of our year, so
Yeah.
it was getting pretty busy there for a while, and I'm just worn out.
I
And
don't blame you.
the next couple weeks are going to be kind of a double-edged sword because everyone's hours are going down, but it gives me a little bit of a break. Unfortunately, it also gives me a little bit of break in my paycheck.
Breaks all around.
Yeah.
I understand. We're still trying to get our septic system replaced. I got the estimate, and it's almost $7,000.
Oh,
Jeez.
It's too bad that's a necessary thing. 'Cause
Right?
you
Yeah.
can't cut that out.
Yeah, it's pretty painful. So my in-laws are visiting, and our yard is a bit of a swamp, and
Ooh,
they
home
wanted
automation
to
septic
do
system.
landscaping, right?
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Computers can't even deal with our sound issues. I don't think they can deal with our literal shit.
Maybe that's all they're really good for.
Yeah.
But yeah, other good things though this week. Geek Girls hit we doing it a year. Did our
Yeah.
anniversary episode.
Yeah,
It was super exciting.
I noticed that on the feed. I haven't got a chance to listen to it yet, but I noticed it on the feed that 1 year anniversary of 50th episode.
Yep, we only missed 2. That's pretty good.
Your 50th episode is your 1 year?
Yep.
Ah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that worked out really
Momentous.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took a break at the holidays, and then there was one we missed. So really consistent.
Yeah. Unlike
cool.
some other podcasts that we know about, not naming any
I
names, of
don't-
course, but
Don't
this
listen
one.
to any other podcasts. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, still working on the consistency aspect. But
Hey, we
work in
have
progress.
full-time lives, man.
Yeah. It's right in the title, so.
Right now, the consistency is kind of like oatmeal with like a nasty kind of a greasy layer on top of it. It's really
Nice.
gross. We're working on it.
Someone
we
needs
have
to
video
take that
content.
and turn that into a review. This podcast has the consistency of oatmeal.
Oh yeah, that's the first thing you want to read when you read reviews for the podcast. This guy
Go put
thinks
that
we-
on iTunes right now.
This guy thinks we sound like oatmeal.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So, anyways, after all that, let's go ahead and get into our water cooler talk. Starting with Zach, let's see what article you brought to the table today.
Well, go ahead and click it and see it, and you can read it.
Well, you can. It's your article. You're supposed to be the one reading it.
All right. Again, I had a hell of a time finding gaming news. I haven't had time. Come on now. There's some slack. But I did find this article about the Pokemon Go update that's coming out. And I have not. Disclaimer: I have not actually played Pokemon Go actively in a long while, but I have been keeping up with some of the stuff that's going on in it because I'm curious about it. Because even ever since it launched, I thought it was a really cool idea, despite the fact that it was lacking a lot of some of the stuff that they promised and some of the stuff that I thought would be neat to include. And it looks like they're actually going to go ahead and include a lot of that. So, trading stuff, Pokemon. I assume not just items. I'm assuming Pokemon is right around the corner.
Well, good.
And player versus player battling is not quite as around the corner, but it has been confirmed and it's in the works right now. I guess some of the legendary Pokemon are going to be in the game by the end of this year.
Okay.
So Zapdos, Articuno, all those fun ones, Mewtwo. There is a big event. It's a solstice event. Starts on the 13th of this month, actually. It focuses on fire and ice type Pokemon. There's going to be large XP bonuses for accuracy when throwing Pokeballs, as well as discounted lucky eggs in the in-game shop. After which point, there's going to be a real-world Pokemon Go event on July 22nd in Chicago called the Pokemon Go Fest. And I guess they're going to have a whole bunch of festivities and you can celebrate the game. I don't know. They're not really detailing anything. But if you're in Chicago or in the area, check it out if you're into Pokemon Go. So also
I'm still playing. So
I know.
PokemonGoLive.com/fest on June 19th at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
You will get information about being able to get tickets to the Chicago event.
Great. That's good. I see. And I actually know people who are still playing it, and I've considered now that it's summer or getting to be summer and it's more consistently warm around here, I can actually go for walks again and not feel like I'm just a snowman. So it's it maybe is an excuse for me to bust the game back out and kind of poke around. And one of the last thing in this article that kind of struck me as hot is they're talking about some of the commercial partnerships that they're going to start doing. I guess there's a partnership they're considering teaming up with McDonald's to see if fast food companies can become Poke locations in which you can access exclusive content. And I guess there's an internal memo that was leaked that points to a partnership between Niantic and Starbucks. So,
well, they already have that.
They do, but this is when you're in a Starbucks location, you have the chance to unlock a limited edition Pokemon Go themed Frappuccino.
Yeah, that already exists.
That does exist?
Yeah, I've done it. It looks gross, so I haven't actually tasted it. It's
That's
that kind of
that's so gross.
Pink fruity mush thing. But yeah, that happened a while ago with the Starbucks.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
That's odd. I wonder why the article is from a few hours, 13 hours ago. It says the promotion. Wait a minute, hang on. The partnership will see blah 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 blah. Become either Pokestops. Oh, okay. So majority of U.S. Starbucks branches will become Pokestops or gyms. And when they're in the location, they have the chance to unlock a limited edition Pokemon Go themed Frappuccino. It must be in the game or something.
Or maybe there's maybe they're doing a new one that's limited because a while ago almost all the Starbucks are gyms, and then the first time you hit it, you unlock that drink.
It says even though customers who haven't unlocked the beverage in the game will still be able to buy it. So you have been able to buy it for a while. I don't know.
Yeah, and I had to unlock it by hitting a Pokestop at a Starbucks.
All right.
But the other interesting one is the shopping centers. Unibale Rodamco shopping centers.
I don't know what that
all
is.
across Europe. There are these European shopping centers.
Interesting.
Yeah, so anyway, they're going to be doing
French Pokemon and stuff.
events. So yeah, there's that. I'm actually, there's something I don't know about Pokemon Go, and maybe one of our listeners could help me out. But like they have different Pokemons that are more common in different locations. And I went to visit Connor last weekend, and there were a bunch of Kabuto out there by the art museum in Raleigh, and they don't pop around here almost ever.
Yeah.
Like the only one I had ever gotten was when I was in DC. So I got a bunch of those, but I also picked up some eggs, like a couple of 10Ks, and I'm wondering if egg rarities types are different. Yeah, if they're linked to area too.
My gut would say that it's not, but you never know.
Yeah.
Never
Who knows?
So what I'm looking forward to is Jury's new game.
Yeah.
Do you have the Contender, either of you?
I do not, unfortunately. Yeah.
I really want it. I keep meaning to buy it, and then I end up, buying some to play with you guys instead.
Yeah. But yeah, even when he introduced it, like I don't know, like over a year ago now, something like I don't know how long ago now it's been, but it does seem like a really interesting game. I just haven't gotten a chance to actually play it or buy it yet.
Yeah, and I like political stuff.
That's probably one of the other reasons why I haven't gotten it yet, is because I frankly don't like political stuff, which is why never mind. Yeah.
But it really looks like fun. I mean, because it's like it's based on debates, so you're in a debate, and then you have cards like you can throw distract by getting everyone to chant USA, USA.
This kind of political stuff is fun. But...
Yeah, but the new one is going to be called Action News. And given his sense of humor, I'm sure that's going to be fantastic. He's starting the Kickstarter in a couple weeks, like right around, I think, during the Nerdtacular.
Yeah.
And then he's going to be a guest on that other show. Right.
You still make me jealous the fact that you're actually able to go to Nerdtacular.
I am so excited.
I would be too.
I'm really disappointed that well, I mean, it's great that Greg Street is coming, but it turns out that now his name slipped my mind. The only person I was nervous about meeting from Blizzard. Never mind. No. Yes, actually.
Bro.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He was going to be there. No, I can't. So. But anyway, Greg Street will be there, and so that'll be interesting too.
Yeah, I still remember the whole Ghost Crawler era of Blizzard. That was still when I was playing World of Warcraft, even.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
Wasn't that long ago.
It was like 4 or 5 years ago now.
All right. It was long ago. Fine.
Yeah. All right, and the article that I'm bringing it's a little bit old now. This was originally from the show we were supposed to do 2 weeks ago, which we ended up missing because my wife was getting back from Florida and all that jazz, and I was just in general horribly underprepared for life and the show in general. So, but Destiny 2 is actually going to be distributed online via the Blizzard launcher.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah, so it's it's obviously not going to be a Blizzard game. It's still going to be developed by Bungie. It's going to be their servers, their all that jazz. But the actual infrastructure for distributing the game online is going to be through Blizzard, because the Blizzard launcher, the Blizzard that whole infrastructure that they've established is really solid. It is a very solid distribution for their games, and they're going to partner with Bungie through Activision, since they're both subsidiaries of Activision.
That's why. Okay, yeah. I was going to say, because my question was, how much money do they have to basically circumvent Steam? And apparently none.
Yeah, both Bungie and Blizzard are subsidiaries of Activision, and they've agreed to this distribution method. And it's going to be exclusively through Blizzard, through the Blizzard launcher for PC. And then whatever it's going to come after, like a little bit after the the console versions of it, but it's going
Did
to
you
be
guys
interesting.
Did you play Destiny 1?
I have not. I love the concept of it. Oh, but when first of all, I don't have a console, so I couldn't have played it anyway because
Sure.
it didn't have a PC version, and
Sure.
I was when it first came out, it had a lot of problems to it,
Yeah.
just mechanically,
Yep.
and it kind of turned me off to it. Oh, but then you got all the updates, you got the DLCs, and then it started to become a much better game. And I'm hoping what they did is took what they learned from those DLCs and everything and apply it to the new into Destiny 2. And
Yeah.
if that's the case, I'll probably definitely play it.
What about you, Connor? Did you play that one?
No, I haven't played Destiny.
I didn't get it because I had a buddy who had it. And he and his roommate were way into that game, and so I would go over there and we'd play that for hours and screw around. And it didn't take me long to realize that. I mean, at least from all I saw, it was basically Halo with online matchmaking. That's sort of like an MMO, but
Yeah.
because like the meat of the game was in those like death matches that he was playing what I got from it, and that's really my only exposure to it. So that's kind of what turned it off to me, because I was like, oh man, I played enough Halo. I don't need any more of that right now.
Yeah.
And but I guess, I mean, there is more to the game. I just never kind of explored it.
Yeah. From what I gathered of the original, it was basically like Halo meets Diablo.
That's kind of what I thought they were going for, but we already have a game like that, and it was called Borderlands.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think that bringing Destiny's audience into using the Blizzard launcher will bring? Because I think that's probably the goal, is to bring them into other Blizzard games.
Possibly, but the other thing is I don't know how much like cross promotion there's going to be, because again, even though it's coming through the Blizzard launcher, it's not a Blizzard title. So
also, you got to remember too, the characters in Destiny aren't like the heroes your created characters.
Pretty much, yeah. Although I think there are some established characters as well in the.
There may be some established NPCs, but you don't. I mean, do you know any of them?
I don't, because I haven't actually played the game.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, people know, even if you haven't played some Blizzard titles, you can't get away. I mean, you know of some of the characters.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that that's necessarily true.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked to, when my kids weren't playing WoW, and I'd be talking about Jaina, and they'd be like, who? So,
yeah.
I think it just seems obvious to us because we are immersed in their universe.
I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, and it was Thrall, by the way. I'm not kidding. It was just like, because Chris Metzen is who I was talking about, that unfortunately canceled on their Tacular, and he was Thrall.
Yeah. Yeah, but the cool thing about this whole like merger with Blizzard and Destiny 2 is the fact that it's basically adding all the social aspects to the game. So like if you're playing Destiny 2, you'd be able to still see whoever your friend or on your friends list who are playing Heroes of the Storm or Overwatch or any other Blizzard title, and vice versa. So I think that's one of the biggest draws of this agreement is Blizzard has this really good social infrastructure and distribution method through their Blizzard launcher and everything. And basically everything else for the game itself is going to be taken care of by Bungie. So it
sounds like the result of two executives agreeing on the word synergy and then making everybody do it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
That's probably the
and
case.
I don't know who would have thought of that, really, from either game studio.
Yeah.
But if it works, it works, and there's no point in reinventing the wheel that they've already
exactly
designed to be their perfect wheel.
I wonder how is it coming out on consoles as well, or is it only? Yeah. It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming out on consoles first, and then later on it'll be coming on PC through the Blizzard launcher.
Because I wonder, like my initial reaction to this is like, what kind of audience are they looking at here? I'm wondering how much of a crossover there is, because I know a lot of people, and this is going to be weird because I'm not trying to dredge up like PC versus console versus, but I do know knew a lot of people who played console games and a lot of people who played PC games generally they were not the same kind of playing the same kind of games. So, and the kind of game that Destiny 1 really, it looked like it really appealed to those hardcore console gamers who played games like Battlefield and Halo with the death matches over and over again. And I wonder if it's going to appeal to the PC crowd the same way that it appeals to the console crowd.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, for the original Destiny, we don't really have any point of reference because it didn't come out on PC.
I know we don't. That's why I'm saying, like, with them launching this on the PC, I wonder if this is actually. And at first I was gonna be like, well, is this a good business move? But of course it's a good business move because they already have. They're gonna have the console version too. They might as well just drum up as much, as they can.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, some people bought a console just to play Destiny 1.
Yep.
And now the Destiny 2 is, even if they have a PC and a console, well, they could get it through the Blizzard launcher or for their console sooner. And either way,
true.
It's a sale.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
I think the Blizzard launcher is going to be a huge advertising force too, just because it's approaching it to all the Overwatch.
Yeah, everybody who's already got the launcher,
kind of
everybody's playing Overwatch. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll likely get me to try it because it's going to be sitting right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'll probably end up picking it up too, depending on what kind of initial reviews and stuff it gets. Because
if your computer can handle it.
Well, that too. That's probably going to be the bigger factor.
I was going to say, because it's not a Blizzard game. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah,
you can run Blizzard games, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little bit of old news now, but I thought that was still a pretty good article to bring up. Also, on a random other side note, MacLeod is now in the public test realms for Heroes of the Storm. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. Anyways, after that, guess it's time for us to get back to work. Today we are talking about a game that was mentioned a couple months ago now, I think. It's the game Secret Hitler. And it was briefly mentioned because the creators of Cards Against Humanity had sent a copy of these to all the current, Congress or Senate?
Senators, all 100 senators.
Yeah, they sent them a copy of this game shortly after the election. And, yeah.
Thank you, Max Temkin. That was cool.
Yeah. But some of the game information is designed by Max Boxleiter, Tommy Moranges, I hope I'm pronouncing that somewhat correctly, Max Temkin, who is also one of the founders of Cards Against Humanity, and Max Schubert, and it was published by Goat, Wolf, and Cabbage, which I think so far has one of my award for the most entertaining company name so far.
That is a good name.
Yeah. Right now.
Yeah, I wonder which is which. If it's like Mooney, Padfoot, and Prongs. I know Boxleiter was a video game developer and Moranges was an author.
Oh no, wait, that was Bruce Boxleiter.
That's Bruce Boxleiter.
I wish it was in Tron.
I would want to be Goat, I think.
Yeah.
Those three.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind being Cabbage, just because cabbage.
I'd prefer to be wolf because I don't want to be eaten.
Like the other.
It's all three food groups: vegetables, wolf, and goat.
Vegetable, wolf, and goat.
That's right.
Oh, those aren't food groups. Those are creatures
it's a good diet.
And a roughage.
I think it's a food chain, just in the wrong order.
Oh,
yeah,
true.
Yeah, cabbage should clearly be at the top.
Anyways.
You watch too much bad sci-fi.
Anyways, getting back on track. Right now, you can find it on Amazon for about $35. There is Ember mentioned in here that there is a version of it on Tabletop Simulator from Steam. You can find it on there for about $20. And there also is a free print and play version of it that you can get off their website. And the game overall, it's a social deduction game for 5 to 10 players, where the two teams are the liberals and the fascists. The liberals are trying to find and stop the secret Hitler and his fellow fascists from enacting their policies and such. So, yeah, it's right off the bat. It's somewhat politically charged game just from the terminology of that. And actually, that'll kind of tie into one of the questions for the quiz later on. But anyway, so the liberals, their goal is to try to enact 5 liberal policies or have Hitler executed. Whereas the fascists are trying to get either 6 fascist policies enacted or have Hitler elected to chancellor after 3 fascist policies have been enacted. And so the goal for the fascists is a little bit more difficult in general, because they have to try to either enact more policies or try to convince everyone to elect the secret Hitler for chancellor. And the thing is, there's always going to be fewer fascists in the game than there are liberals.
Well, yeah, because we live in America.
America. Well,
right.
Yeah.
But they're insidious. They have so many more policies.
Yeah, they actually, in the deck, they have more. There's more fascist policies in the deck than there are liberal policies. But again, there's fewer fascists in the game, including the secret Hitler.
Which makes sense. I mean,
yeah,
that's why they have more policies. It kind of gives them an edge.
And you also have to be the one bluffing.
Yeah.
People put them on edge.
Yeah. Oh, so before we get into really the bulk of how to play the game, one thing that, when I started reading the rules and the description of the game, one thing that immediately came to mind was the game The Resistance, which is another game that we've talked about, I think, well over a year ago now.
It was a while.
Yeah. And it has a very similar social deduction aspect. There's, there are people as part of the resistance, and there's secretly spies for the corporations mixed in with those, and you're trying to either sabotage the missions or have the missions go through and all that stuff. So it immediately reminded me of that. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on what you thought about that comparison. Do you think that's valid, or do you think it's, what's your opinion of that?
I think it's very valid. I mean, the games are pretty similar if you would just take Resistance and add rules to fix some of the zero-sum situations, I guess, in Resistance, then you would get Secret Hitler. Because it gives you a lot more opportunities to get information. It makes the missions, aka the policies, more than just a vote. There's actually a unique result to some of the missions. And overall, it's just a lot more fun to play because of the atmosphere. I think it's easier to get into the liberals versus fascists with the cartoony theme than it is admittedly generic sci-fi dystopia.
Yeah, that's one of the complaints that I actually had about the Resistance, is that it does kind of take itself way seriously, and it's sort of hard to get into that mindset. Which it's funny too, because Coup uses kind of the same sort of thematic, but
Coup and the Resistance actually are in the same universe.
I know they are, but that's what I'm saying. It uses thematically, it's like the same, but I think it's because it's a simpler game. It's not quite as hindered by that fact. So maybe because Secret Hitler is a lot closer to the Resistance, and like Connor said, it's a much more lighthearted sort of the art style, and the card style is much more lighthearted. Maybe it's just a little bit easier to kind of jive. Maybe it's easier to get into. I don't know.
Well, I think the outright flavor from what I've seen, and I know Connor has seen with the reactions when it came around to the folks at he's president of the North Carolina State University Tabletop Club, and like they have a relatable, it's a real life universe that you're working in, and people understand the terms, like passing policy, even if they're not into politics. And I think that just makes the whole game, just the flavor, more relatable and interesting. And I know it was Connor said to me, he said that watching people play reminds him of watching people have political conversations, because it just escalates and escalates until someone's yelling at someone that they're Hitler.
Yeah, shouting at each other, "You fascist scum."
Which is probably a phrase that is come up way too often lately. But anyways,
is Resistance the one with the foam guns?
No,
that's
cashing guns.
Yeah. Yeah, the
What's
resist.
Cash and guns.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the resistance is like a
with the
dystopian
Resistance,
universe.
There's another clone of it by the same producers called Avalon. Have you guys heard of it?
Mm-mm.
I have heard of it, and I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet, though. I know it's
It is
basically
almost exactly the same thing as Resistance.
yeah, it's just a different aesthetic. It's like a
Exactly.
medieval aesthetic rather than a dystopian universe.
That's right. It's Merlin and the cadre around him.
Yeah.
But there are a few additional rule sets that you can play with, some optional rules that are a lot better than the Resistance's optional stuff. And the unique character of Oberon, which is a lot of fun because he's a wild card, sort of like the Hitler character in Secret Hitler, because the fellow spies do not know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of my favorite bits about Secret Hitler.
Yeah. Which actually, on that note, we might as well start getting into the actual kind of nitty gritty of the game mechanics itself. One of the things what you just mentioned is the kind of restriction of knowledge is part of the. I thought one of the interesting parts of this game in general. Well, getting ahead of myself though. But for the setup, you determine how many of what you need, liberals and fascists. You give everyone there are I believe 4 primary cards that you give each player. There's 2 ballot cards, which no or yes for the voting later on. There's a secret roll card, and then there's their party membership card. And the secret roll and the party membership are effectively the same thing, but there is a reason behind having them separate. Because one of the things later on you can see like what party membership a player has, but you will never see whether or not the player is just a regular fascist or if they're the secret Hitler. So that was one of the reasons why they had those separated out.
Yeah, and that's the only purpose of the roll card.
Yeah. But at the beginning of the game, the fascists secretly discover who else is a fellow fascist, as well as who is the secret Hitler. Now, one of the things that's different, though, is if you're playing a game with 7 or more players, the secret Hitler does not know who else is a fascist. Which I thought that was an interesting part of this, because it's, again, that limited knowledge. Whereas in a game of 5 to 6 players, the secret Hitler knows who all the fascists are. They can, because there's only like 1 or 2 of them anyway, and so they can better coordinate. But once you get more than that, there's more fascists. So the fascists will know who the Hitler is, but Hitler doesn't know who the fascists are. So he doesn't really necessarily know who to trust in order to try to get the fascists to win, which I thought was a really interesting twist on this style of game.
And that sounds like a really interesting dynamic, because then you have to really be paying attention to what kind of policies they're enacting and whether it's strategic and whether you think you can take them into your confidence if you're secret.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of the relationship between the minion and the werewolves in One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Because the werewolves, as I recall, don't know who the minion is, but the minion knows who they are. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, just another thing that came to mind was in Bang, the relationship between the sheriff and the deputies.
Yep. Yeah,
So
we all know how that goes.
Yeah.
Or Risk, when I convince someone through most of the game that I'm working with them, and then I just smash them.
That's just called lying. That's different.
Yeah. But
I thought it was strategy. Wait.
Just depends on the strategy to do what, but yeah. Anyways, I'll
win.
Well, yeah. Or you could just not play Risk and everybody wins.
No, that's not true. It's not fun at all.
But after the fascists to figure out who is who, you randomly select whoever's going to be the first presidential candidate, and then you begin the election phase. So this game, like many others, takes place in different phases. The first of which is this said election phase. The presidential candidate nominates another player who is eligible. There's some rules on eligibility, which we won't really get into, but you'll be able to find that out.
Got to be like a white male over 50 or something.
Not so much.
Oh no. Oh,
No.
that's not. Oh,
No.
that's just. Oh, okay.
See, there's some utopian element.
Good.
Well, yeah, the presidential candidate nominates another player to be the chancellor. After the chancellor has been nominated, everyone votes on this current government, on the presidential candidate and the current chancellor. If the majority votes no, or there's a tie, the government is opposed, and the next player becomes the next presidential candidate. The election process starts over. Now, this is kind of important because if the government is opposed 3 times in a row, whatever the top card on the policy deck is just turned over and played immediately, whether it's liberal or fascist, which can be either potentially beneficial, more than likely detrimental.
Typically, it'll be fascist because there are usually at a time more fascist cards.
Yeah.
Unless you've been passing only fascist policies.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, after the election, after a government has been elected, that counter starts over. So it only really takes place is a problem if you do it 3 times in a row, which is kind of nice. But if the majority votes yes, the government is approved, and the legislative session phase begins. During that, what's it?
It's just socially interesting. I think it's brilliant design because, kind of real world parallel. Like we can't decide too many runoffs, and the government just has to go, nope, this guy's in charge. We're calling it, and enact a fascist policy. So
yeah. But moving on during the legislative phase, the current president draws the top 3 cards of the policy deck, and then puts one of them back face down. So, one thing that's kind of interesting about this whole process, though, is the fact that there can be no verbal or non-verbal communication between the president and the chancellor during this phase. And you can also not choose a policy card at random, because it undermines the principles of the game. You cannot indicate what kind of policies you have in your hand one way or the other. It is a pretty important deal for this. But after the president picks up the 3 cards, puts one back face down, passes the remaining 2 cards to the chancellor, who, of those 2 cards, has to enact one of them. After the policy has been enacted, then that's where you can start having the deception or the truth or whatever. That's when you can start having the communication between everyone on why that specific policy was enacted. And then if it was a fascist policy that was enacted and it grants an executive action, the president then must take that action. So that part of it I think is very interesting because it gives you a lot of room for deception. You can say it's like if you have to
coercing or bullshitting at that point.
Yeah, it's like if a fascist policy is enacted, it says actually in the rule book, it gives some strategic suggestions and everything that that means that one of three things is the cause: either the president, the chancellor, or the deck itself.
Right.
Because it could be possible that the president drew 3 fascist policies and had no choice but to give the chancellor 2. So,
and that's what he'll usually say.
Yeah.
But only he knows.
Yeah. So that's where a lot of the deceptive aspects of the game really come into play, and I really enjoy those opportunities for the deception that it opens up. Oh,
I know Connor has some amazing outcomes that he's seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, really, you have to work a chain of trust all the way back, because the only true way to confirm or to make people think that you're confirmed as a liberal is to have someone to check somebody, and then for that person to check you back, and then to check someone else. or to just get 2 checks in one direction, and the last person is a liberal.
Okay.
It just will confuse everybody at the table into not knowing what to do, or they won't think about it that hard.
Sure. Yeah.
And let you swoop right into the chancellorship.
Yeah.
That seems to be how a lot of these types of games sort of work. It's like if you're trying to conceal, your best defense is just confusion. Just load the table with confusion, and it seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, if you can't just outright redirect the blame or whatnot to someone else, just creating just chaos so people
make everybody question everything.
Yeah. I mean, granted, overall in this game, I'm probably not going to do too well because everyone already assumes in any kind of deception game that I'm lying anyway.
Dude, you're a really bad liar sometimes.
No, the problem is I'm actually a pretty good liar, just no one ever trusts me by default.
That could be it too.
They're just like, well, we're just going to assume that Sean's lying, so yeah. But yeah, after the legislative phase, if fascist policy was enacted that gives an executive action, the president has to perform that whatever the action is indicated immediately. And there are 4 different actions that it could potentially be. One's the investigate loyalty, where the president can look at another player's party membership card, which Connor mentioned just a second ago. Another one is the call special election. The president can choose another player to be the next presidential candidate, and they immediately go into an election phase. And one thing that was kind of interesting about that one is that is completely separate from the current order for the normal elections. It just like randomly puts another election into the mix, which I'm still not entirely sure what the benefit or drawback of that is. You have any insight on that, Connor? Like what exactly the strategy behind using that special election would be?
Well, it lets you change temporarily the order of the way things go, but after that temporary election, things do go back to the normal rotation. So the main nice use would be getting the chancellor in, but the best other thing that you can do is just try to manipulate the strategy based on what the current situation is and get who you want to talk on the stand to defend themselves.
Okay.
That's the best way that I see it.
Okay. Well, it would seem to me too that if you just got
you flow control.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you just got 3 fascist policies enacted and you figured out who Hitler is and you want to sneak him in there before other people figure it out, that would be a good time to call a special election.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you choose that chancellor.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly. Not quite an election, it just happens.
Well, yeah, from what I read in the rules, whoever the current president chooses the next presidential candidate, and they just go through the normal election process again. So it would be the person that you choose, that the current president chose to be the presidential candidate and all that stuff. But the question I have, it doesn't specify in the rules whether or not you actually get to like the legislative phase and stuff like that after the election. Is that
with the policies
or with the call special election? If it says that you go into the election phase, but do you continue like it's basically a turn within a turn?
Yeah, and
okay.
If you do get that government approved, then they do the typical policy process. But if they don't, then that counts as 1 strike against the 3 strikes, and then it just goes to the previous president rotation.
Okay, so it is, at first glance, I didn't think it was all that powerful because I thought it was just like, okay, it's just the election. I didn't know if it went to the legislative phase as well, if it was approved. So yeah, that could actually be a little bit more powerful than I initially thought it was.
Yeah, the strikes are kind of a big deal.
Yeah. But then, so, okay, that clarifies a little bit more for me. Awesome, thank you. And then the other two, one...
Also,
what's it? No, go ahead.
No, sorry. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, the next one is the policy peak. The president is able to look at the top 3 cards of the policy deck and return them back in the same order. Just gives us a little bit of insight of what's coming up next. And then the last one, which is, I think one of the another big departure between this and the Resistance is execution. The president removes one of the players from the game. If the player happens to be Hitler, game ends, liberals win. If the player is not Hitler, the player's party membership card is not revealed. That's a big one.
So it would have to be that way.
Yeah, even if the player is eliminated, you still don't know if they were a liberal or a fascist.
Right.
But yeah, this, like I said, this is a pretty big departure from the Resistance. You can actually eliminate players from this game. Whereas in the Resistance, everyone who starts the game continues throughout the entire game. Yeah.
Yep.
And once they're eliminated, the rules say that they can't speak or interact at all.
Yeah, they're just gone from the game entirely.
Source of info.
Yeah.
They got pushed onto a subway line.
They fell down an elevator shaft onto some bullets. So yeah, that's that's really the gist of the procedures of the game. And one thing that is also pretty helpful is similar to like One Night Ultimate Werewolf and such. They actually do have an app that narrates a lot of the instructions for the game as well, which I think is a really cool thing to add in general for games like this. Just having those narrated procedures throughout the game is very helpful.
Yeah.
Well, and because at the beginning with the setup, there's a lot of close your eyes, and
right.
You need an extra person if you don't have the app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you have any other comments that we want to dig into before we move on?
I just have to say that Secret Hitler is, out of all the tabletop social games that I've played, definitely my favorite.
Really?
It's the best bluffing game that I've played, including the wide category of bluffing games and any social game as well. It is my favorite.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely...
I'm a big fan of the Resistance, and if anybody listening likes the Resistance, I would definitely look into Secret Hitler.
Zach and I and a bunch of friends are actually going to be going on a trip this weekend, and we might have to try to get the print play version, see if we... Because we're going to have more than 5 people there. So we might actually have to try this.
At least 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the replayability seems surprisingly high, given the demand that Connor's Club has seen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like for the replay value, it's... Sorry.
You're fine. It just, by mechanics, has a lot more different combinations and possible outcomes than Resistance or similar games, just with the extra nuance of the missions actually doing something and giving more information or possibly removing a player even.
How long is an average game of this?
Entirely depends on who's playing.
Yeah.
But I would say probably expect 25 minutes.
Okay, so
it's real pedants, it can last like an hour.
But so it can be compared to some other like social deception kind of games, in that, because most of them try to, like, that sweet spot is right between like 10 minutes and a half hour, is what a lot of them try to go for.
It's not quite so good to just pick up really quickly, like more a party game, not quite.
Yeah, because like One Night Ultimate Werewolf is like, I mean, you can play as many rounds of that as you want. Like one round of that is going to take you maybe 5 minutes. But that's like the whole point of it.
Yeah, they suggest like 10 minutes, and usually when we play, we're like voting by like the 3-minute mark, if not earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, with this is a little bit more long form deception, so I would expect it to take just a little bit, quite a bit longer than something like One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
I feel like maybe that was part of their design, was to try and hit a nice spot between a game like One Night that you can pick up and a more long involved game like Mafia, where that can go on for a long time. So maybe that's kind of what they were shooting for.
Yeah, and I think that if you're sitting down to play it, it's a lot better to plan for a few games, because you never really know someone until they're lying to your face.
Sure.
And you know they're lying to your face.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, it sounds like they'll want to play it again once they get through. You play one round, and you're like, okay, now I kind of learned the ropes. I will do things differently next time, and people are going to want to play a second time at least. So.
Yeah, and only half the people about are satisfied.
Sure.
Because they won.
Right.
All right. So any other comments before we move on?
No, man.
Yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything for this one. All right. And on that note,
Sean's favorite part.
Yeah, because I get to try to stump you guys.
Ours.
Yeah. Although
there's
there's three of you now, and Connor seems pretty knowledgeable on this game, so
there's still 4 answers per question. So
yeah, that's true. But
the math does not add up.
You do have the two of you, Zach and Ember, to bring down Connor.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes.
Try. Yeah.
All right, but gotta agree on an answer, and we'll go from there. All right, question number 1. If you don't think there's anything funny or cool about fascism, who does the official FAQ say to send complaints to? Is it
Donald
A,
J. Trump?
your senator?
It was hilarious. Come
What's
on,
that?
I just told you the answer. Donald J. Trump. Let's go. I read it earlier, and I thought it was awesome, so I remembered it.
Yeah, this one's kind of a gimme, but let me say the answers anyways, because I'm kind of amused by myself. Okay?
I'm proud by your...
Zach, you're so cocky.
I was on this one. When I have a right answer, I'm ready to go.
I know one.
All right. A, your senator. B, President Donald J. Trump. C, Goat, Wolf, and Cabbage's voicemail. Or D, the closest recycling bin. You're saying B, President Donald J. Trump. Why can I not talk?
Which actually doubles as the closest recycling bin, but yes, that's the
pretty
one.
much. Anyways, that's right.
Yeah.
Ruin my quiz right off the bat, dang it.
I'm good for something.
All right. Question number 2. In a 5 to 6 player game, which executive actions are available first? Is it A, investigate loyalty, B, call special election, C, policy peak, or D, execution?
I think it's investigate loyalty.
I'll go with Connor's answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna defer to that one because I have no idea.
All right, so you're all agreeing on A?
I think I've only really played 5 to 6 player games.
Okay.
And I pretty much always remember that being the first thing. I think it's the first thing all the time. I don't know. That's my answer.
You best be right.
That is
Oh, no!
incorrect. For a 5 to 6 player game, the first executive answer or action that is available is policy peak.
That just sounds stupid.
You know what
Alright.
it is. Probably the whole club's been just playing it wrong.
Now, Grant, this is from what I
Icon right there.
yeah, this is from what I saw of the print and play version. Just looking at, because that's another thing that's kind of unique about the game is the executive actions are different depending on how many people you're playing with. So on the board for 5 to 6 players, the first one is the policy peak. Okay, question number 3. What is the date on the calendar on the front of the box? Is it A, July 31st, 1952, B, March 12th, 1945, C, April 15th, 1955, or D, July 21st, 1943?
Alright, well it has to be B or D. I know the game is set in the 40s.
What was B?
B was March 12th, 1945.
I like
It's strange
1943.
because those are all, like, it's supposed to be a game leading up to the war.
It's pre World War II, and those are not pre World War II dates, which is very weird.
I'm gonna say Reichstag fire or something. No.
I like 43 though, just because I thought I was looking at dates on the website, and I thought I saw a 43. I thought it was 32 because it was like, oh, it's before the one, but maybe I read 43. So I don't know. I'm not confident.
Is that B?
I think that I'm saying for D.
Because it's.
I'm not confident. So my guess is a total shot in the dark.
I think it's B.
You think
I'm
B?
not particularly sure why. I'm just remembering.
March 12th, 1945.
Yeah.
I don't know historical dates.
I don't know. I'm more confident with D though.
With which one? B or D?
D because it's earlier.
D. Yeah. Look.
When was July? What?
July.
A is July 31st, 1952. D is July 21st, 1943.
I think it was July 31st. I'm trying to remember what the date was attached to, though.
Well,
I'm sure it was July 31st, though. Just because the day I printed it out, I got a call. And I was on the phone reading it while somebody who's in a special election coming up was telling me when the dates were, and it stuck in my head. For a local election.
What's the date of the reestablishment of German Parliament? Who knows?
Well, we gotta make a decision here.
And I'm willing to go with A, I suppose.
Let's go with A.
I
Okay.
remember it better than any of us.
That is correct.
Yes.
It is July 31st, 1952. March 12th is my daughter's
Excellent.
birthday, April 15th is my birthday, and July 21st is my anniversary.
In like 1943, that doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Sean.
it's
Shut up,
like
you're lying.
70-year difference,
liar.
but I'm just saying,
okay.
like, without the year, those are what those dates are significant for.
Now's where we're all supposed to pretend we knew that because we love Sean and we know all those things about his life.
Well, you didn't.
I
put
actually
your
wasn't
birthday in
expecting
the
any of
did
you to remember those, except Zach. You should know my birthday, dang it.
I do know your birthday,
Zach,
but
you
you're
should know.
not born in like the 40s or the 50s, Sean. For
No,
God's
but it's still the
sakes.
day. Anyway.
Ladies, break it up.
Yeah, that was me just trying to come up with, like, I don't know what other days to put. Sure. Anyway, question number 4. Which executive action is the only one available in games with any number of players? So regardless of however many players you have, this is the only one that's available in all of them. Is it Investigate Loyalty, Call Special Election, Policy Peak, or Execution?
I want to say Investigate Loyalty because you don't have enough people to execute near the end of a game if it doesn't have. If it's only 4.
Good point.
Can you play with 4? I don't think you can.
That seems like that would be. You'd have a president, a chancellor, Hitler, and a liberal or a fascist. Like that. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it'd have to be 2 too. No.
I expect loyalty. I demand loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling that too.
You're choosing Investigate Loyalty?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are.
It is incorrect. It's Execution.
What?
Yeah, Execution is on, at the very least, the last spot for the fascist policies on every single on every single game board for a number of players. It's the only one that appears on all of them.
Well, you can always shoot somebody, I guess. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at that point,
just the other guy.
Yeah, at that point, you already have 4 fascist policies enacted, and it's like this is the 5th one, so it's like one after that is the fascists win regardless. So it's late in the game, but yeah, it's the only one that's present in all of them. All right, last question
May as well
for us.
start shooting at that point.
Pretty much, yeah. Last question for us. Question number 5. Which animal is depicted on the Liberal Party membership cards? Is it A, an eagle, B, a snake, C, a dove, or D, a donkey?
God. Connor, come on now. I feel like an eagle... Oh, go ahead, Sean. Sean, are you there?
An eagle
I'm
is
here.
too close to...
Let's hear him again.
Eagle, snake, dove, or donkey?
I don't think it's going to be eagle.
I
I think I know where you were going with that. I'm thinking dove or,
Yeah.
dove or donkey.
The reptiles.
So, dove?
Yeah, I'd say dove.
Yeah, I can't remember. I mean,
It's not going to be a snake, and I don't think it's going to be an eagle. So I'm tossing up between
Yeah,
dove and donkey.
eagle is so close to other Nazi
Okay.
propaganda.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then the fascist ones are like skulls,
Yeah.
and liberals are, a bunch of hippies. I think it's a dove.
Yeah.
And the snake is the don't tread on me, which,
Right.
yeah, I think dove. If I were designing the game, it would be a dove. Or one of those little Bernie birds.
But what's a donkey then? Or is that Sean throwing something in there to...
I think it's too close to Democrats. I think,
You're right.
that's a red herring.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. I got you. Let's go with dove.
That is correct.
Yes.
I was trying to throw you guys off. Snake is actually on the fascist one, but you were getting the idea that I was trying to get with the "don't tread on me" and stuff like that. So, yeah. So you guys actually did pretty well this one. You got at least 3 right, including one that was the date on the box was actually kind of surprising that you guys nailed it.
yeah.
Well, I mean, who do...
It was events that other in my life that attached itself to remembering something. Like
Well, it worked. It definitely worked.
my multitasking.
Oh, yeah. All right. And with that done, that brings us to the end of our show today. Yeah. Rock on, guys. Connor, it was great to have you on the show, and thanks for your insight, and especially the clarification on the call special election and everything. It was really helpful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh yeah, great to be here.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. If you find value in our show and would like to support us, you can at patreon.com/parttimegamers by subscribing to our YouTube channel or by giving us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you'd like to contact us, you can with our email, parttimegamers.cast@gmail.com, or on Twitter at PTGcast. You can find me on Twitter at Cyrenex or on BlizzardNet, whatever we're calling. I'm just referring to it as BlizzardNet now because, yeah. With the battle tag Cyrenex number 1996. You can find the show and the rest of my work at caffeineinducedproductions.com. Ember, where can people find you on the internet?
I can be found at 9of12, that's NINEOF12 on Twitter and Twitch. My battle tag is 9of12 number 1102, and you can hear me on the Geek Grills.
Yeah, which just celebrated their 1-year anniversary, 50 episodes. Rock on.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Party is in order.
Yep.
We're
How are
going
you, Zach?
spectacular.
Yes.
That's a good party.
All right, how about you, Zach?
You can find me on Battle Blizzard Battle, that Blizzard tag battle, with the tag Zachalith number 1466, and sometimes you can find me on Twitch, which is unlikely lately, but I have been known to pop on there on occasion at Gristle Java.
All right, and how about you, Connor? Did you want to share anything?
The Tabletop Gamers Club during the semester.
Yeah.
We've got the schedule up online. If you just search for the club, you can come anytime, bring any games you want, play all of our tabletop selection and any card games or any role-playing games that you want to bring or participate in. It's really free-form. It's really fun. It's a lot of fun, really. It's a pleasure to run.
Awesome. I kind
Very
of wish
cool.
I lived in the area to, actually be able to take part in some of these, the club. Sounds like a lot
Just
of
a
fun.
plane flight away.
Yeah, and, bankruptcy.
Right. I mean, just
Or
bankruptcy
just,
away.
or just not eating for ever.
Just starving away.
Yep. Anyway, everyone, until next time, we are all the part-time gamers, and we are clocking out.